Hello and welcome to the Legendary Chiropractor Podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Reuter, and this podcast is brought to you by thelegendarychiropractor.com, an interactive and immersive virtual platform for prospective chiropractic students, current chiropractic students, recent chiropractic school graduates, and even veteran doctors of chiropractic out in the field wanting just a little bit more from this profession. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and if you do, be sure to share with a friend, leave us a rate, leave us a review, and also be sure to subscribe to get more. Chiro HD, superior cloud-based practice management software. Chiro HD is a user-friendly, all-in-one EHR solution built with one mission: to help you run your practice like a boss. Learn more at chirohd.com. Total Clinic Solutions is your go-to source for purchasing both brand new and refurbished chiropractic equipment, as well as phone support for repairs and maintenance. Call Derek and allow him to combine your wishes and his 23 years of chiropractic equipment expertise to find what's best for you and your patients at 704-622-4089 or head to totalclinicsolutions.com now. Yo, what is going on, legendary chiropractors? Johnny Reuter here with another episode of the Legendary Chiropractor Podcast. Oh, I am on fire this morning. I'm so stoked, so excited. I am coming to you live today to chat about types of branding in regards to your chiropractic journey, in regards to your personal life, professional life, and really all things chiropractic. I really just love to dive in. But I do want to say, those of you listening later on, I'm in beautiful Chicago, Illinois, and we have some snow on the ground. We had some snow overnight last night, and it's like my favorite thing in the world. There's nothing better than waking up to snow on the ground when it's nice and quiet, and you just hear the tires on the snow that are squishing it along the road. It's like the best in the world. It's like the best sound in the world. So with that being said, as things begin to hopefully get a little bit better each and every day, in regards to not only the virus that has taken this world by storm, but also in regards to the new year, your practice, your life, and as a chiropractic student, a new quarter and a new age for you. So with that being said, I've done a lot of reading and research on a lot of generational stuff in regards to what's to come, what's coming down the pipeline, why should we be paying attention to generations, and why I bring this up, it's because it's important. I try to tie in a lot of different things to these live feeds and to these audio podcasts because I want you to get the best of the best content. I also want you to share within my experience and from my experience what are the strategies that are going to work? What are the strategies that aren't going to work? What have I seen? What have I done? Those kinds of things, right? I haven't seen and done it all, right? But I've documented my journey thus far, and I've gotten to the point where I am following these steps that I'm trying to teach you as through each and every episode of this podcast. So with that being said, the reason I bring up generations is because generations are important to us, right? We always have this controversial conversation around generations and how the older generation always blames the younger generation. However, I want to shift your paradigm. I want to shift your paradigm here because a lot of us are going to be talking about Gen Z. Gen Z is right around, I think the oldest Gen Zer right now is like maybe like, 20-ish, not even, right? Because there's a gap in between millennials, right? And then there's Gen Xers, and then there's Gen Zs, right? Well, there's actually Gen Ys, then Gen Zs. So it's really, really complicated in the sense of what happens in each generation and why generations before oftentimes blame and or point fingers at the generation coming up, right? So a lot of that stems from, right, new things, new inventions, and new innovations, right? And in regards to the chiropractic profession, right, and in regards to all of like corporate America and just everything that goes on in the world, Gen Zers are the one and only. Easily share your passion for chiropractic and look good doing it with Above Down Apparel, offering a premium lineup of principled apparel that's impossibly soft, sustainably sourced, and chiropractic AF. Visit abovedown.co and follow them on Instagram to learn more and score yourself some sweet chiro swag. One and only generation on planet Earth that was born into a generation or born into a world where social media has existed from day one, right? Think about that. So Gen Z has existed in this world where social media is standard, right? I remember creating my Facebook profile. I'm sure some of the people in front of me who are a little later on earlier on in the millennials remember creating MySpaces and AOLs and all sorts of stuff, right? And so for millennials, this is really the social media boom. Not the .com boom, but the social media boom, right? The like YouTube existed kind of sorta. The .com boom happened before that. And then, social media really like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of these devices and applications just freaking took off during the millennial generation. And Gen Zers are born into that. Freaking crazy, right? So I want you to think about that. Take that into consideration when you're hiring, when you're firing, and when you're creating new systems and protocols in your office, right? Because a lot of times, right, we'll come up with super cool things that we think are super legit and think are super fancy. And then all of a sudden we look back and we're like, why are they not following the rules? Right? Why are they not doing what I'm telling them to do? Or why are they always wanting to just sit at home doing nothing? Right? And it's like, are they really doing nothing? My answer is, of course, no, right? Like, of course, no. I would argue the same thing for millennials. But boomers, right, that Gen X has a big issue with millennials because they really, 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 really don't get and or want to understand the social media age like millennials want to understand it and utilize it, right? So when you talk about e-commerce, you talk about social media advertising, you talk about all these different things, a lot of these, more corporate world and or local authorities or establishments are run from a very, very, very limited scope and mindset, right? And so when they think of things like, oftentimes I'll get, blamed for wanting to sit at home on my laptop. I can get more done probably on my laptop in a 2 to 3 hour time span than I would argue most parents out there in regards to like the boomer generation will do in a typical 9 to 5 day, right? And that's not to brag for myself. Any millennial can probably say that, right? It's just a matter of switching that conversation and being willing to accept and adapt to the new generations coming up and the new cultures that are coming with it, right? So why I talk about this is because there's many, many types of branding that you can do. There's personal branding, there's social media branding, and then there's future practice branding that you can do as a chiropractic student, right? So as a chiropractic student, what I want you to focus on for personal branding, how do you want to be remembered? Say, we're talking on the Legendary Chiropractic podcast. Start creating your legacy from day one in chiropractic school. How do you want to be remembered? What type of chiropractor do you want to be remembered by? For me, it's high volume, high profitability, and the most specific adjustment I can produce. Right? So That's what I encourage you to think about personally. What do you want to do personally in regards to personal branding and how you're going to shape the public perception around what you want them to see, what you want them to attract to or be attracted to, and what you want them to react to in regards to your leadership and compassion for their health and well-being. That's personal branding. Social media branding is all what you put out to the world, right? So personal is more conversational based, more friends, family, loved ones. What's word of mouth spreading about you? Write your story before someone else writes it for you, I'm sure. Dr. Stu Hoffman, founder and president of Chiropractic Malpractice Insurance, is the foremost expert in both risk management and risk avoidance. Understanding the everyday challenges of today's practicing chiropractor and the current public perception of chiropractic has made Chiropractic the fastest growing malpractice insurance program of the last 28 years. Find out more at chiropractic.com. Imaging Services' primary business is chiropractic solutions. With over 45 years in the industry of helping chiropractors, Michael Tokash offers free consultations on building your business. In the past year, Imaging Services has installed over 100 X-ray machines and digital X-ray systems in over 42 states across the United States. For more, head to theimagingservices.com. Dr. Brad Glowacki runs one of the highest volume, highest profile, highest profitability practices in the world, and it's all run with vitalistic communication procedures. Those procedures from his office are then shared with other chiropractors at his various trainings as a part of Level Up mentoring. This information is created, developed, tested, and then packaged simplistically before being taught. With bruises and scars from making mistakes, Dr. Glow always delivers refined content that is battle-tested and simplified for use on Monday. To level up your life and practice, head over to levelupmentoring.rocks. That's levelupmentoring.rocks. That before. But social media branding is, what are you putting out to the world? What are you actually producing for the world? What content are you putting out? What blogs are you writing? What stories are you writing? What images are you sharing? What logos are you producing? What are you doing in regards to all of those things that makes you and your personal and professional image shine in a way that is important to the future of your chiropractic career? The third thing is chiropractic branding or future practice branding. Now, this is for our later on chiropractic students, right? This is for later on chiropractors. We're talking 8, 9, 10th quarter and above, right? So you got about a year left of school. And here, what you're talking about and what you want to be doing is really, really, really honing in and focusing in on what do you want your future practice to look like? This is the season of my life that I'm in. I'm sitting down at night. I'm really thinking about not only business plan, marketing plan, but I'm really thinking about envisioning what my future practice looks like, what it feels like when you walk in the front door, what it looks like when you walk in the front door. What are the colors? What are the smells? Who are the people inside? Who are the front desk staff greeting us when we first walk in the door? What are your systems, procedures for day 1, day 2, progressive reports, et cetera, et cetera? What are you doing in regards to keeping people and maintaining people under healthy chiropractic care without the burnout, without the myth and the dogma that surrounds the chiropractic profession where we need to see you 3 times a week for the rest of your life, right? How am I going to live that out in my future practice, seeing high volume, high profits, and giving people and showing people the light behind the chiropractic profession in regards to the best kept secret in the world, which is unfortunate, right? Which is what we're trying to change. So that's what my chiropractic journey looks like. I'm in that season of life right now. I'm planning future practice planning right now. Now the nitty gritty stuff, business plan, marketing plan, leasing a building, getting a license, like getting a business license, getting an LLC, all that stuff comes a little bit later. But right now it's all about vision. What do I vision the practice to look like? What do I vision the practice to smell like? What do I vision the practice to be like in regards to health, healing, and a beacon of light in my community? How does that look? How does that feel? So that's what I encourage you to do. Personal branding, professional branding in regards to chiropractic future practice building, and social media building, branding and building in regards to what you're putting out to the public, what you're putting out to friends and family in regards to content, images, logos, fonts. I mean, think nitty gritty stuff, but also think content. What are you talking about? How can you help people now in chiropractic school instead of waiting until you cross that stage and then you got to figure it all out in your first year of practice and or first year associating, right? So I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Comment below if you found value in this. And I hope you enjoyed this. Audio podcasters, thanks for listening. And I hope you tune in next week for the next episode. Peace and love, my friends. Bye now. Again, I'm your host, Johnny Reuter, and you're listening to the Legendary Chiropractor Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for engaging with us on all of our platforms, including, but not limited to, Facebook and Instagram, all at The Legendary Chiropractor. Be sure to check our home site out at thelegendarychiropractor.com, as we have much to offer for prospective chiropractic students, current chiropractic students, recent chiropractic school graduates, and even veteran doctors of chiropractic out in the field. And lastly, I'd like to thank not only you, our listener, but also our podcast sponsors. Without them, this show wouldn't be possible. So I encourage you to go check out their websites and what they have to offer in the show notes for this episode. Thanks again. Stay legendary, my friends.